Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to your reading for January 2022. Now, this is just my Patreon reading, so this is an exclusive monthly reading just for you guys. So, yeah, let's get into it. Let's see what January 2022's got for us. Now, when I was shuffling and getting ready, a card fell out, and it was Sunshine Yellow Dragon. And it says, help. This Sunshine Yellow Dragon helps you to help animals, serve animals, heal, respect, and understand them. So I'm really feeling that this month is going to be important, whether that's that you've got an animal or a pet that needs taken care of, maybe a stray might wander in, or you may be called just to help an animal in need or protect some sort of animals. I know I'm really feeling the call personally to donate to the Rhino Foundation to try and save more rhinos in the world, because there's only 80 left and one's dying every 20 hours or 22 hours. So, you know, in a couple of months we could have no rhinos left. So I am really feeling called to pledge and donate to that cause at the moment, and it's really important to me, and I feel a huge drive to do that. And maybe you're the same. Maybe you would like to donate to save the rhinos, and that would be an amazing cause for you to donate to. Or perhaps there's some other cause that is calling you in the month of January or right now where you need to help, where you're being called to help some animals in need, whether it's your local shelter. Maybe a friend is just, you know, going away and they need someone to care for their pet or something like that. But, you know, just trust your instincts with that, but just be aware that the animals are needing us to help them at this time. Yeah, so just be aware of that, I guess. And yeah, please act on that. If you have some sort of thing come up where you feel really guided to help an animal in some way, just follow that, because that is really important right now. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my cards that I'm yet to publish. I have written them out, see, and I wrote them out a few years ago, and I still haven't published them because, one, I'm not very good at graphic design, and I don't have the money a lot of the time to do anything with them. So that is why I started this channel, was so that I could try and raise some money in pledges to go towards helping to publish these. So you know, thank you for joining and being a Patreon, because it means that these cards can be published. And so we're being called to listen to our intuition at this time. The intuition is leading your way, and be receptive. So we're getting in a lot of messages at the moment, and you're going to be guided. And like I said in the yearly reading yesterday when I did it, we're going to be called into being our true selves. And so this is just perfect, and it's, you know, leading the path and following the path. And January is the start of this year, and we're being called to really listen to our intuition and be receptive to the messages around us. So really start paying attention to those things, because if you don't know what path you're on, that is fine. You don't have to know. If you don't know what your true self really looks like, hopefully you've discovered some of that over the past year, and I feel that that's why a lot of us were in lockdown. But hopefully you've discovered a bit more of what's important to you. You might not be really crystal clear on everything, and you don't have to be. But you just need to be willing to follow the clues, okay? So follow the breadcrumbs, and you will eventually get where you need to be. So really listen to your intuition this month. It is super important, because you want to start this year going on that path of light. And, you know, you don't want to be led down the wrong path or battling through all the brush trying to get through, okay? You want it to be easier and simple and have it flow. And so that's where our intuitions are really going to come in and help us there. So we really need to be receptive, and whether that's, you know, just taking a deep breath throughout the day, or if you come up against a challenge and you're like, I don't know what to do, and just coming back to your breath and centering yourself and finding yourself again and tuning into yourself and finding that place of where you can actually hear that guidance. And you might be someone who likes to meditate every day, so be really receptive to those messages, pardon me, coming in at that time. Energy is moving. Or you know, maybe it's not that for you. Maybe it's going for a walk, or maybe it's like me and I just take moments through the day where I just breathe and I center and then let things come in. And often, sometimes things will come in dreams or signs or the TV messages or buses, or, you know, someone will say something in conversation. And so just be receptive. And if you hear things, you think, oh, I was just thinking about that. Okay, I'll follow that. So yeah, I feel like that's also really important for January. And of course it is, because we want to be on that right path of light. We want things to flow in our life. So very, very important. And so what else is coming up for January? Okay, I'm going to take that one and that one. So we've got, the first one is make music. Sorry, my camera's not very good on this. It's not really focusing. Sorry, I just had a message come through about my son. So, make music. Okay. Look, if you're into making music, go ahead and follow that at the moment. If you play an instrument, or you like to sing, or maybe you're a part of the band, you're being really guided to go and do that at this time and spend some time doing that. Perhaps you're thinking about it, making music, and you've never actually done that. You know, maybe now's the time to start, and there's something maybe important in that for you. Perhaps you've never thought about it. But maybe there's some way that you can make music, and maybe it's just bringing music into your life a bit more. So whether it's listening to songs that you like a lot more, maybe listening to background music that I've got playing here to try and drown out some of the traffic noise. But maybe it's about putting on different sounds throughout the day to sort of lift the vibration of your house and you and those around you, or maybe in your office space, maybe listening to some music there. But it's talking about making that music. But I really feel like if you bring music in more, and it will really help you at this time. The other card was feeling safe. And I don't know if you can see that, but she's got a sword and she's standing in front of a castle. And I think, and she's actually standing at two gates there. And what's interesting to me is that the castle, which you probably will not see, no, you can't see it. The bricks actually look like a honeycomb to me. And if you've got this deck, I can't remember which one it is, I've taken them out of the covers, but is it Messages from Fairies, or no, it's not that one. It's the, yeah, I can't remember, sorry. It's one of the Doreen Virtue ones. But anyway, it looks like a hive, and to me this sort of feeds into what I was also saying about the year where we are part of a community, and not to feel scared and to feel safe in being able to go out into the world now. So she's got a sword there, and I feel like, you know, she's prepared, she's ready, but she's ready with her angel wings or fairy wings to go out and spread that light. And I feel like that's what's really being called right now. We need to go out and help our community around us. And I'm feeling that's a really big push right now. There's a lot of people that don't know the way forward, that are stuck, I guess, or, you know, maybe not woken up yet. And so what we can do is simple things by just going out there and being the leaders, shining our light, and really having, you know, but feeling safe enough to do that now, it's important, because I think a lot of us have really cocooned ourselves in the houses and away from people, and we've looked after ourselves, which is amazing. But it's safe now. We can go out, and even though I know the third variant is going around rampantly, it's telling us that we can feel safe in that. And I really feel that as well, personally. I feel like if you keep your vibration high, that this is not a virus or a disease. And quite often, if you know a lot about this, you know that we get sick when we're shedding old layers and stuff. So it's the energy falling off, and sometimes that can cause a lot of sickness when we renew ourselves. So for those of us that have kind of gone through that process, we're not going to really get sick anyway. So, you know, and if you do, it's probably going to be a lot more mild than a lot of other people. So this card, though, is telling you to feel safe, that you can feel safe to go out and shine your light and be that fairy. The community sort of needs us now to be that leader, to go out into the field and to really be who we are and shine our inner light of truth. So I really like that, actually, because these cards for January are really falling in with the yearly reading. And I mean, it's not a surprise when this is for January. So this is how we set up the foundation and set up that pillar for ourselves. Okay, so Wagtail fell out, Willy Wagtail essence. Now, I can't remember what Willy Wagtail was all about. I know what Willy Wagtails are. They're the most beautiful little bird. They're one of my favourites here in Australia. I don't know if they're anywhere else. They sort of flit around, and they have this beautiful little beep, 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 and they sort of flit around, and they're really happy and chirpy, and they live in a community of other wagtails. And they actually, I think they're a breed that breed for life as well. So, sorry, I might just pause it and get the cards. Hang on. Okay, I'm so sorry. I had to go and get the meaning, but my mind was just blank. So, I actually feel like I'm going to read this out. Sorry, but it's actually beautiful. The small wagtail is a ground-feeding bird that is part of the fantail family. They have a joyful spirit that reminds us to be playful, spirited, and childlike. When life feels heavy, and as if we were carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders, we can look to a wagtail to see that life doesn't have to be so serious all of the time. In fact, in order to make a greater and more positive impact on the planet, we must look continually at maintaining our own positivity. The wagtail offers us the gift of reconnecting with our own essence, our purpose, our soul, and our connection to all that is divine. As he sits on the grass foraging for insects, swaying and fanning his big tail feathers in the air, we are reminded of the importance of staying grounded and remembering the childhood memories we collect, having fun, playing, dancing, and singing. Returning to these ancient practices for pure happiness, we are able to see what it was that always drove us to do such big work in this world. The innocence, the essence, and the beauty in life that we wish to continue to preserve for generations to come. I just think that is a perfect card, and it sums up exactly what I've been trying to say. The connecting to self, being joyful, being our true self, childlike, happy, singing, dancing, returning to these ancient practices, living in our truth and seeing the beauty in life and that we wish to preserve for generations to come. That, is just absolutely perfect. And it's kind of the essence of what I was trying to say yesterday, is that we're being called to be these pillars of light and these beacons, and to really live in our truth and be the light person that we are, and stand on that path and be the pillars for those around us. And I know I was talking yesterday about 3 major pillars being around coming up in the year, but it also related to us and the pillars of the life we wanted to leave and lead and build. And so, and our own, okay? So we need to be the pillars of light to those around us, but we also need to build those pillars so that future generations can have something really wonderful to build from. We're not building a life anymore based on greed, corruption, and capitalism. It's going to be on community, self, but within that community, okay? It's not going to be completely all community, no self, and it's not going to be all self, no community. There's going to be a balance between the two, but the community is coming back as a major focus, and we're going to realize that without the community and without the whole, we can't have the self. So, and we've learned hopefully that with just the self, we can't have community, and look at what that's done to society. I know for me as a single mother, it has been a really tough time when I've had to raise 3 children, try and work, run around after school with them and do this and do that, and just trying to fit in and be their loving and caring and supportive mother, and also juggling all these balls in the air. And I know that a lot of people say, well, that's just mothering and that's just parenting, and I get that, and that's also just being a normal person. But I have really felt left behind when I've needed help and I've had no one around to offer that help and support. And that spirit of talking about it takes a community to raise a child, and I've looked around and gone, well, where's my community? Because it's just me. And while I'm not saying that like woe is me, it's how I have felt. I have felt that there has been no community around me, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I think a lot of people have felt that. And so I really feel that the switch is happening, and there's going to be a lot more community. And I have noticed myself personally in the last few months and year that some people have stepped forward to offer a bit more support in some ways. So while it's not, completely there, it's given me some hope that there is community out there, and I also have to open to it. But that is important right now. It's so important. But it's also what's coming forward in life. And I love that the Wagtail talked about music and dancing and singing. And so maybe that's really, sorry, I have to let my cat in because he's clawing at the door. Sorry, I didn't want him scratching at the door because he would actually scratch the paint off. And I love how the Wagtail was talking about singing and dancing, and so that really plays beautifully into that Make Music Hard. And so that makes a little bit more sense as well, as in bringing that music in, like I was trying to say, throughout your day to lift that vibration and also just have fun with it. Okay, so I'm going to another deck of cards that I don't use very often. So we'll see if I know the meaning of this one. Usually I can get guidance of what's coming through, but with the Wagtail, I actually think that they just wanted me to read that out because that was just perfect with it. Okay. Now he's wanting to go out, my crazy cat. Okay, so, Sisters of the Season, Cycles of Growth, Natural Law, Divine Order. Yeah, I like this. So this kind of plays into what I was saying just before, how we've had the community and no self, and then we've had the self and no community. And now the cycle's turning again, and hopefully we can have a balance between the community and the self and the Sisters of the Seasons. So as with everything is in cycles, spring, winter, we all go through everything, the dark night of the soul, the sun raining down on us. There's music and magic in every season, and I really feel like this is talking about with cycles of growth, the cycles of the world. The world has gone through a really winter stage. I feel a lot of people are being called into their dark night of the soul, and they've had to really face a lot of things, and so now they're going to hopefully renew a little bit and come into the spring. And I feel for those that really went through a lot, there's probably still some work and some shifting to happen. It's not going to all magically be wonderful. The growth takes time. So, but with trees, there is always that ring of growth every year. And if you like to think of it, you've just added a massive ring onto that tree of growth. So, Smokey, would you get out of it? So yeah, really feel like the world has been through the winter and now coming into the spring, and you may have felt that yourself, but know that there is all the divine order in all things. Okay, so I've picked up the dragon cards again. Aquamarine dragon from Neptune enables you to access your deepest soul wisdom. Spirituality and wisdom are available to you. Develop your psychic abilities and receive ineffable soul knowledge. Yeah. So now is the time to receive so much messages, and like the sea dragon, we are swimming in our psychic abilities and emotions and things with the water. They are all around us. We can't ignore them anymore. And like I said before, yesterday with the yearly reading, it's about bringing that ancient knowledge that we had in our past lives and bringing that forward at this time. So now's the time to really tune into your own magical qualities, your own mystical qualities, your own intuition, your own powers and purpose of being, okay? What you were capable of once is now starting to come back. So really tune into that and develop that. And the best way to do that is by surrendering and acceptance and listening in and tuning in and centering and being guided by the world around you. The second card was Dusky Pink Dragon from Andromeda. Prepares all of your chakras to embody higher love. How beautiful. Accept and radiate higher love. Touch others with its flame. And I love, actually, there's musical notes on the dragon. Yeah. So it's time to tune into those higher frequencies. I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but across here is all the notes. So this pink dragon is zooping up your chakras so that you can take in more juice and really radiate with higher love. And so I really feel like she's coming in to clear out the stuck debris that might have been there, the little bits that you still have floating around, and bringing in that higher love. And so it's really up to us to touch others with its flame. And I'm really feeling that we are deeply being called to help others at this time. And like the first card was helping animals. And I really feel that this year we're going to be called into service like no other time before. It's not just about service for money. It's about giving and donating of our time, our resources, but in doing so in a loving, helpful, generous manner, we will get that return to us. And I feel that a lot of us, myself included, over the past, I used to be someone that gave and gave and gave until exhaustion, and I gave so much I had nothing for myself. And I've really had to learn to accept and to receive. And I have been on that journey for the last 9 years, really, of learning to receive, because I wasn't a receiver. I was someone that gave, and gave. And I have been in a situation where I've had no other choice, but I've had to learn how to receive, and gratefully, and just to accept it humbly. And and not want to give, and know that and trust that later down the track I will have time to pay it forward. And I feel, for me personally, and that's what I feel is coming up here as well in this reading, is that we're going to be called to give now and pay those things forward. And we had to learn to be able to receive, but now is the time that we're going to give, and we're going to give back. And I feel like we will know when it's beyond our boundaries, and we won't give beyond our boundaries. And I think that that's been an important lesson we've had to learn. So I feel like even though we are going to give generously, it's going to be without over the top giving. Okay. So just trust, if you're being called to give and donate, whether it's time, whether it's resources, whether it's just helping out a friend, whether it's paying for someone's groceries in front of you or behind you, I don't know, you'll be called into specific things at specific time. For example, I just had a friend ring me who lives in another state, and they're coming down to visit this state recently. And she just wanted to buy some things to go climbing, and asked if they could get them posted here instead of bringing them all the way down. And of course I said yes, that's fine. But that's just a small example of something where I'm giving that help there. So you know, it can be big and it can be little, but I feel like it'll be little things, but knowing that when we give freely and we give happily, that will come back to us. So to trust in that, and to also trust ourselves not to give too much, because I think we've really learnt the lessons of that. I know I have, hopefully. So this is also why I'm doing these readings and trying to really give back now. And yes, I'm asking you to be a patron, and I really appreciate it, because it means that I can get these cards published and get them out into the world and hopefully help more people. So, you know, and that's not just one set. I've actually got a couple of sets that I still have in my mind and I haven't written down and written. And I've got a couple of books that I need to write. So I do feel like this is my way of giving back, and this isn't the only thing that I'm doing here. I'm also, you know, doing a lot of other stuff, like giving to charities and helping out friends when they ask and things like that. So, and also just giving my time to friends. There's been a couple of friends that I've had for a long time, and one in particular will always ring me a couple of times a year for a chat, and I've been a terrible friend and I've never rang her, you know, and so, and even though I want to talk to her, and I've always just let life get in the way. And so I have been trying to ring her and say hello, and even some of my family members that I dearly love, but I was a bit estranged from for certain reasons. The ones that I can have a relationship with, but I maybe haven't for a little bit, I've been trying to, you know, give my time back to them and ring them and things like that. So that's just little things. It doesn't have to all be monetary. It doesn't have to be, yeah, it can just be little things like that, like giving someone time, you know, listening to someone who has a problem, just giving your ear for a moment. All of that is an act of love and an act of giving, and you don't know the repercussions that that does have for someone. So all of those little ripples of love will go out into the universe and help everybody. So, and I'm getting shivers saying that. So, you know, that's what they're really calling us to do. And I guess, you know, this is higher love, and it's talking about love. Okay, how can we give out of love? And listening to someone and giving your time, even to your children, if you have children, or your neighbor's children, or a child you might see in the supermarket that just wants to tell you a story about something, or, you know, just listening to them and giving them that time really makes a huge difference. So, you know, just be open to what comes along and pay attention to those little things, and it'll all come back. And I know that, and I trust that you will do it in a way that's harmonious and love-filled for you. And those, know that those ripples are going to ripple out through the universe and just be magical and beautiful. So I think that's the end of this reading for January. I hope you've enjoyed it. I just, really feel called to do that right now. I'm glad that, a lot of those cards were sort of similar and followed the path of what I said yesterday for the yearly reading. If you haven't looked at my yearly reading, I'm pretty sure that I've posted it yesterday, access to all tier levels, so that everyone can read it. It's just and have access to it. It's just a yearly thing that I've done, as it's also on my YouTube channel publicly, and I think I put the links on my Facebook and stuff like that. So that's a freebie I did for everybody. So go and listen to that if you haven't listened to that. And I thank you. This is your own Patreon reading for January, and I love that it's perfect. So sending you so much love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your support, and know that by supporting me to do these things, we will get those cards out, and we will, send them off, and so many people are going to benefit. I just know, and it will be the start of many. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And find those nuggets of joy and music and playfulness, and I send you love. Bye.